Episode 261. Today we're talking about some standouts in yesterday's matchup between New Jersey and Chicago, and a game where New Jersey was able to take control early on. And I think from that point on, they were able to just kind of command the game for the rest of it, and they were able to take control for it. And they were playing a very effective game overall. I think offensively they were very engaged. They had a lot of their guys offensively who were very productive throughout this game, which was really good for them. And a lot of guys who were producing, and a lot of guys who were really creating a lot of situations in their favor offensively. And I think that allowed them to be able to not only take control, but just be able to command the game and be able to command the full 60-minute effort and doing so against Chicago as well. So starting with Luke Hughes and his 3-point game, he was very productive and just played a really effective two-way game, was really effective in transition, really effective up ice, really effective at moving his feet, and really using his feet to open up space offensively. I think when you're talking about Luke Hughes, you're talking about a guy who can really produce offensively, but also is starting to become more of a two-way defenseman in the league. I think it's going to take a little bit more time for him to evolve into that, but certainly has shown the ability to be that type of player in his career and very early on in his career. Jesper Bratt, who had a 2-point game as well, he was very effective. I think he's a guy down the stretch that's going to really pop offensively. And for the Devils to succeed, they need Jesper Bratt and they need Timo Meier going regularly along with Nico Hischier. I think they need those three guys to contribute all the time and be able to provide their efforts on the offensive defensive side of the puck. And speaking of Nico, I thought he looked really good too as a passer and being able to get in on the forecheck, being able to close gaps, being able to close ice, and really leverage those situations to be able to get pucks back, turn pucks over, and be able to create offense out of those scenarios as well. I think Dawson Mercer played a really good game, 2 goals, 4 shots for him, and he looked really good around the net. In his instincts, he's got a really good nose for the net, so that certainly helps. And when you're talking about Dawson Mercer, you're talking about a guy who can really facilitate the game offensively and defensively. And I think he's a player that goes a little bit unnoticed on this team, given that there's Jack Hughes there and Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt and all those guys. But I think Dawson Mercer, a player who can you would like to see get back into around 60, 70 point form eventually down the road. Obviously, he's not necessarily having the most productive offensive season this year, but he was very effective in yesterday's matchup, and I thought he was really noticeable. Stefan Nason was really good as well, got his 20th talk of the year on an empty net goal. And I think Nason has been a blessing in disguise for them. He started his career playing in New Jersey too, and coming back, he's almost looked better, I think, and has just continued to be an effective middle six style scorer who can regularly contribute offense, regularly can contribute goal production. And I think that's definitely something that's very important for players to be able to do and to be able to execute on a regular basis as well. So he was really good, really effective. Andre Palat was really noticeable as well. 1 goal for him. He was really noticeable offensively, really noticeable off the rush, attacking in transition and really being able to weaponize his speed there. I think it was an asset of his throughout this game. And he had a goal in this game where he was coming down the flank offensively and was able to score too. So Palat's been good. I think you would like a little bit more out of him if you're New Jersey, but he's effective. He's an effective player and provides offense when needed as well. As for Chicago's side, I think Artie Levchinov was really noticeable in this game, and especially as an offensive player, and not only being able to produce offensively, but being able to jump in the rush, being able to be involved, moving pucks up ice quickly, and being able to engage the offense that way. And at the same time, I think Levchinov's a guy who can really be impactful in the D zone in terms of man-to-man coverage, closing gaps, closing space, and being able to use his reach and his physicality to be able to close ice. And I thought he was really noticeable there. And then Ryan Donato with 2 assists. I thought he was great and really showed up on the score sheet as well, like he regularly does for this team. And with his 2 assist game, 2 shots, I thought he was just doing a great job of not only being able to generate offense, but being able to do it off the rush, being able to make plays in difficult situations offensively, being able to be a guy who is reliable as a facilitator, I think is very important to his style and how he plays the game. And I think he plays a game that is really solidified as an all-around player. And I'm curious to see what his contract situation ends up being moving forward in Chicago as well. Frank Nazar, I mean, when you talk about Frank Nazar, you notice the speed. And I think the speed is something that is really a major asset and a major driving force in his game because he is able to use that speed to his advantage in open ice situations. When he gets going, he's hard to stop. And he can really propel himself up ice in transition and off the rush to be able to make plays and to be able to generate offense. So I think when talking about him and his style of game, he is going to be a guy long term, certainly has top 6 forward potential and has regularly played a top 6 role with Chicago. I just think long term, could he be a top line guy or will he still be a guy that moves up and down the top 6? I think that's the bigger question. There's no doubt he has top 6 upside and he seemed to thrive in more of a top 6 role anyways. So I think you might as well keep him there. If he's playing better in the top 6 than he is the bottom 6, keep him there and see how he generates offense, see how he engages himself in the attack. And just giving him more reps in terms of ice time is going to allow him to be able to have that effectiveness on a regular basis as well. So, and talk about Nazar, he was great. He was noticeable. He brought flash, he brought finesse, he brought skill, and was just very effective as an all-around contributor as well. And then Teuvo Teravainen, who when a lot of these games, he's really gone quietly noticed. And with Teuvo, he's a guy who he really is reliable as a playmaker, like as a pass first style player who can make subtly flashy plays and also be able to make plays that extend those own possession. And I think when you're talking about Teravainen, he's that type of guy where he can provide that impact to not only be effective as a playmaker, but be effective in the D zone, like making little outlet passes or short area passes that allow the team to exit the zone. That type of thing. I think as a winger, it's especially more important to be able to do that. And I think Teravainen is really underrated at making those short little aerial plays that other players might not be able to do as often as he does on this team. And I think when you're talking about Teravainen, that's one of the biggest things, one of his best attributes. I really wanted to talk about that because it's very underrated in his game and how he's able to really weaponize it to his advantage. And I think he does a good job of being able to do that on a regular basis as well.